Hello everyone, welcome back to this part. So in this part we are going to learn about output variables and data types in C++. These concepts are the foundation of programming because data types define what kind of data we store, variables store that data, and output helps us display results on the screen. Okay, so let's start with output. In C++ we use the cout or the console out to display information on the screen, and it comes from the input output library. Okay, so let us write some code here, and I'm going to explain everything. So from there we have from at the start we have the hashtag include iostream, and we have using namespace std. I'm going to explain about this using namespace std in future parts. Okay, but let me I'm going to explain using namespace this line in the future parts. Okay, first wait, just know it must be there. Okay, so let us start. So inside here I'm going to use cout, console out, and I'm going to say welcome 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 to C++ programming like that, and I add a semicolon. So cout, which is this one, cout sends output to the screen, and text inside the quotation marks inside the quotation marks is exactly is printed exactly as written, and every statement should end with a semicolon, as you can see. Okay, so let us talk about how to print new lines. Okay, so to print output on a new line we use the end ln. Okay, so let us first save this one, and we take a look at how we can run our program. So you can open your terminal, or you can just come here in VS Code, look for where there is terminal. Okay, or you can find it here. So let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so control to zoom out. So you're going to see these bars here, these dots here, and you click on them, and you say new. Click on terminal, then new terminal. Okay, click this one, and your new terminal is going to open up. Or you can zoom out a little bit. Okay, and then you click on this menu bar, and then you go to terminal, and then new terminal, or you can just press Ctrl Shift then the back tick. Okay, so I'm going to press new terminal. Okay, and then I'm going to scroll up like this. Okay, so after doing that I'm going to press CLS to clear all my screen like that. Okay, on my terminal, everything in my terminal, and I'm going to do something. In order to compile, we use GI plus plus. Okay, GI plus plus. So this is the GI plus plus like compiler. Okay, GI plus plus, then the name of our file. So the name of our file is called the main.cpp. Okay, so it's called main. No, I'm going to go in the terminal, and I type main.cpp like that, main.cpp. Then from there I'm going to say that I want the output, use slash o. Okay, so the output is going to be in main. Okay, like that. Then press enter. Okay, and from there you're going to wait for compilation to be done. From there we are going to generate the main.exe. Okay, as you can see, main.exe, which is our executable. And in order to run our executable, for those who are using cmd, you need to change to PowerShell. Okay, so make sure that you are using PowerShell, you are inside PowerShell. As you can see, I'm inside PowerShell, and if you are not inside PowerShell, you are inside cmd, you can just click this one, and then you choose PowerShell. Okay, and it's going to open up a new terminal with PowerShell configured. Okay, so like that. And for those who are using a Linux, you can continue. They are going to be the same commands. Okay, except for those who are using cmd. Okay, make sure you have PowerShell. And for those who are using bash, who are using the bash terminal, you can remain there. Okay, the commands are going to be the same. So you type dot /, and then your name, your file name, which is main. Okay, and then press enter. Okay, after doing that, as you can see, we have run our program. So it's called here we are getting welcome to C++ programming. Okay, so as you can see, so that is it. So to print output on a new line, we use the end ln. Okay, so let us, before we output, okay, we put the output on a new line. Let us first duplicate this line and then go on to the next line and we paste it there. Okay, so let us wait and see what we are going to get. Okay, so let us compile again. After compiling, we run. As you can see, we get all these two sentences on only one line. As you can see, we have welcome to C++ programming, and then another one, welcome to C++ programming in addition. So to print output on a new line, we use the end ln. We use the end l, okay, which is the end line. Okay, so after this line, after printing out this line, on this same line, what we are going to do, we are going to add double less than symbols, and then we add the end l. Okay, so to end this line. Okay, so from there, if we try to save and we try to compile again, after compiling, we try to run. As you can see, we get welcome to C++ programming on one line, and then we break the line, we go to the next line and we print this welcome to C++ programming. Okay, so the end ln moves the cursor to the next line, making output clean and readable. Okay, so let us now take a look at variables. Okay, but before we take a look at variables, you are going no, we shall take a look at namespaces in future parts. Okay, I don't want to confuse you with a lot of concepts. Okay, so what is a variable? So a variable is a container used to store data in memory, and each variable has a data type, a name, and a value. Okay, so before using a variable, we must declare it. Okay, so but before we say that, let us take a look at what data types are. The data types tell C++ what kind of data a variable can store, and different data types use different amounts of memory and are used for different purposes. Okay, so let us take a look at the common data types we have. So let us take a look at the integer data type, okay, which is the first one. So our variable, we declare our variable like this. We say a, we name it. Okay, we name it. So before we do that, we need to define the data type to tell C++ the data type of our variable, and then we give our variable name. So we can say age, okay, that's the name, and we can assign it, we can initialize it, okay, and we can assign it to be equals to 21. Okay, so because this is 21, which means this is an integer. 23, not 21, 23 is an integer, which means we have to tell C++ that this data type is an integer. Okay, and in order to do that, instead of using the word integer, we use int. Okay, we use int, and int is used to store whole numbers, both positive and negative. Okay, so let us take a look at another one. Another one is the floating point data type. Okay, so the floating point data type, we have two. We have the float and the double. Okay, so float and the double store decimal numbers, and double is more precise than the float. Okay, so for example, if we say, we can say float as the data type, and we say we have our height, and we can set it to be equals to 5.8. Okay, from there we say that the double is more precise, so the double is going to have more decimal points. Okay, decimal digits. Okay, so we can say double, we can say weight equals to 65.45. like that. We add a semicolon at the end, like that. Okay, so double and float store decimal numbers, and double is more precise than float. Okay, so let us take a look at another data type, which is the character data type. So the character data type, we use the char, okay, the char to define that data type, to tell C++ that our data type, our variable contains the character data type. Okay, so we use the char like that, and we can say, we can name our variable grade, and we can store grade. So to store a grade, let us use the single quote, okay, like that, and then we type a. That's our character, it's a. So let us try to use char grade 2. Can we use double quotes, and we say b, like that. We add a semicolon. Is it possible? Yeah, as you can see, it's impossible. So when we try to hover over our b, we get a value of type const character const char. Then asterisk cannot be assigned, cannot be used to initialize an entity of type char. Okay, so which means we have to use only single quotes for our characters. Okay, like that. Okay, so this one becomes a valid code. Okay, so char stores a single character and uses single quotation marks. Okay, so we have another one which is called the boolean data type. Okay, so the boolean data type we use to define it, our variable which contains the boolean data type, we use the bool keyword. Okay, so we say that bool, then we say for example, let us name it is student, and we can set it to be equals to true because we are all students here. We are all students. So bool stores only two values, the true and the false. So if not true, then this one would have been false, like that. Okay, like that. I think you'll get the concept. Okay, so we have another data type which is called the string data type, and the string is used to store text, and strings use double quotation marks. Okay, so characters use single quotation marks, but for the strings they use double quotes. Okay, so we can define our variable. We can say string, we can say string, let us name our variable name, and we can set it to be equals to what. Let us set it to be equals to Alex, like that. Okay, Alex. So string is used to store text, and strings use double quotation marks. Okay, so let us now take a look at how we can display variables using the count. Okay, so now let's display variables using count. So to do that, we can say that our name, we can use, let's go into this line, we say cout. Okay, cout, and we can console out our name, like that, and then we add end error, okay, to end our line, like that, to move the cursor on to the next line. So if we try to save, okay, we can do that even with the edge. Okay, we can do that even with the edge. So we can, let's just copy this line, copy, we paste, and then we can change this one to edge. Okay, and from there we can also paste, okay, this one, and we can change this one to be height. Let's do it again, we paste, and then we change name to weight, like that. Okay, weight, like that. Okay, so after doing that, let us now take a look at, but before, let us format it very well. Okay, so to format it, let us do the same here. Let us add, before printing our name, on the same line, we are going to add to print this one, this word name, and then colon, and from there, so that we get perfect perfect output. We can say, so this one is going to be age, add a semicolon. Okay, so you are going to take a look at this one. So let us add a space there. Okay, and we do the same on with the height. So we are going to say that this one is our height, add a colon and space, and this one add those double, and then we add, then this one is going to be our weight. Okay, but I forget the e, so it's going to be like that. Then we add a semicolon, we add a colon, and then space. Okay, so from there, if we try to save, let us try to save. We have, what about the is student? Yeah, let us try also with the is student. So we paste everything there, we change this one to is student, then from there, let us try to format it very well, and we add this one, student colon space, we save. After saving, let us try to compile. Okay, so after compiling, let us try to run our program. As you can see, we get name, we get Alex, age, we get 23, height, we get 5.8, weight, we get 65.45. Okay, the student, we get 0. Okay, so text is in quotation marks, variables are written without quotation marks. Okay, so variables are written without quotation marks. Okay, you should know that. And the double less than symbols, the double less than symbols operator connects output items. Okay, so you should take a look at this one. So here we have false. Okay, so false here, our keyword false means 0. Okay, so 0 means false, and true, if we try to change this one to true, we save, we go in our terminal, we try to compile. After compiling, we try to run. As you can see, we get 1. Okay, so true stands for 1, and false stands for 0. Okay, I think you get it. Okay, so let us now take a look at how we can change variable values. So variables are called variables because their values can change, they can vary. Okay, so you get it. So to change them, for example, let us try to change our age from 23, let us change it to 25. Okay, let us change it to 25. So after the name, let us get access to our age. Okay, so we don't have to define to declare it. Okay, so here we are doing two things: we are declaring and we are assigning. Okay, we are initializing. So if we want to do what is called initializing or declaring, we could say that int age 2 semicolon. Okay, so this one is called declaring a variable. Okay, and initializing it means you say that you give it a value. Okay, or you store a value in that variable. You can say age 2 equals to something like 18, like that. So this one is called assigning, initializing. Okay, this one is called initializing or assigning. Okay, so from there, so this one, which means all these lines we have been doing declaring and initializing at the same time. Okay, so I think you get the concept. So we don't need this variable. Let me delete it. Okay, so we are going to try to change. Okay, so in order to change, it's like assigning, reassigning our variable. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to say age equals what we want. Let it be 2025, like that. We add a semicolon, we save. Okay, so after doing that, let us try to compile. After compiling, we try to run. As you can see, we now have age as 25. Okay, so that is it. So let us now take a look at the rules for naming variables. Okay, so when naming variables, we should start with a letter or underscore. Okay, so here we have been starting with the letters. We can also start with underscore, like that. As you can see, we can start with an underscore. So we don't have age, so we need to come here and we access our age with the underscore at the start. Okay, so this one becomes valid. So we can also change or the occurrence of the age, like that. Okay, so as you can see, okay, we get that one. And if you want to change all occurrence of age at the same time, you can do it like this. Okay, let me try to go back. Okay, let me try to go back. So if you want to change your age, your variable, or your word, okay, in VS Code, what you should do, you should move the cursor to the end of that word. Okay, to the end of that word, and then you press Control D. Okay, this one is going to help you select the first occurrence, and then press D again to select the next occurrence. Press D again to select the next occurrence, and you can continue pressing D's multiple times to make sure that all occurrences have been selected. Okay, from there we are going to delete. We are going to just move the cursor, okay, instead of deleting. So we only want to put the cursor at the start, okay, like that. So we only want to change the start, okay, to include the underscore. So you can add that underscore like that. And if we go down, as you can see, our age has been changed, okay, to underscore age. Okay, I think you get it. Okay, you get the concept. Okay, so I will say that one of the rule for naming variables is that variables start with a letter or underscore. Okay, so and also that no space is allowed in our variables. So if you change and you include a space, so for example, let us have our variable here called the age 2, and we set it to be equals to 6. Okay, we add a semicolon. Okay, as you can see, so we have no error right now. Okay, and if we add a space like that, we are going to get an error because this one becomes two different variables. Okay, so this one is a valid variable, but this one is not, because we have not formatted very well our code. Okay, and if we want to add to make these ones two different variables, what we could do is to add a comma. From there we can now do something like this. So these ones become two different variables. Okay, and if we try to output to use C out, and then we output like that, and then we add, then we need to end our line and L, then we go to the next line with C out, then we add E2, then we need to end our line, add semicolon. So if we try to save, we go down in the terminal and we try to compile. After compiling, we try to run. As you can see here, what are we getting? We are getting 1. Wow, we are getting 1 and we are getting 6. Okay, so this is what we are getting. Why are we getting 1 and 6? Why are we getting 1 and 6? So let us try to change, to add a comma, and then we say 3. Okay, like that. So if we do that, we try to save, you're going to see that here we are going to get an error, expected an identifier. So here we got something. Okay, so what if we say, let us say if we have 6 3 and we have let us have 5, like that. Okay, if we add it there, as you can see, so this one becomes impossible. So here we expected an identifier. Okay, so here if we disable errors, so if we try to save and we try to compile, as you can see, we are going to get an error, expected any qualified ID before numeric constant. Okay, so as you can see, we get that error. Okay, so what if we make it to have that one and then we add 5? Will it be able to accept? Let us try to save. So here we have 3 semicolon 5 semicolon. Okay, so if we try to save and we go in the terminal, we try to compile. After compiling, we try to run. As you can see right now, we have 1 and 3 again. Okay, we have the same output here. Okay, so that's the output that we get. So 3 is assigned to our E2. Okay, 3 is assigned to our E2, as you can see. Okay, so that is it, and our R becomes 1. Okay, becomes a 1. Okay, so I think you get it. So, and also about the rules for naming variables, and names you should note that they are case sensitive and you should avoid using keywords. Okay, so I think you get it. Okay, so that's all about data types, variables, output. Yeah, I think you get it. Okay, so that's all in this part. Okay, so in the next part we shall take a look at other advanced concepts.